Hello and welcome back to Annie's channel. You may have seen me here before, but I'll introduce myself anyway. I am Kim Odekoven, also known as Annie's Crafter. As you know, I love coming to you and showing you all these fun tutorials that Annie has with their kits of the month. This one is no different. It is Simply Beads this time. I haven't done a Simply Beads for you, and I thought maybe you'd like to see how I'm going to put this earring set together. It's so wonderfully and beautifully packaged, all divided up. And so it's just so easy to put them together. The one thing I absolutely love about Simply Beads kit is because not only do they stay classic, but they also stay on trend. So it's a wonderful mixture of not only that, but of earrings and bracelets and even sets. So you never know what you're going to get. They like to keep us on our toes. So stay tuned for this earring tutorial. I know you're going to enjoy it, just like the earrings I have on right now. Thanks guys, I'll see you at the end. Before we get started, I just wanted to show you how your kit is packaged and sent to you every single month. It always comes in this tray. It is divided. This one has 6 sections and they're about 1/2 inch deep. Each one of your kit components is individually packaged, so there's no mismatch of what component goes with which project, because this is sometimes a multi-project kit and they want to make sure that you are absolutely on board with what you need for each one. You also will get, when you're first getting your kits, this beautiful welcome gift, which is this mat. It is about 1/4 inch thick and about the size of a piece of paper. It's wonderful to protect your work surface. It also ensures that while you're working, your beads don't go rolling off onto the floor. The other thing that you'll receive is this 4-in-1 tool, and it does absolutely everything you'll need to complete these wonderful Simply Beads kits. So let's go ahead and get started. I've already pre-figured out that I'm going to be doing these earrings here. I thought they're beautiful and it would be a great addition to your repertoire. We're going to learn about doing a looped wire, which means you're going to wire wrap around the loop at the top. I've already finished this first one. So I'm going to grab the kit components, which are spelled out here in the instructions. If I open it up, it says that I need to make 2 of this dangle A, which is right here, and the instructions are wonderful. It also tells me what I'm going to be focusing with my techniques. So I'm going to grab my 4-in-1 tool and all of my kit components that I'm going to need, including this head pin. It has a ball tip at the end. Grab one of my metal rounds, or called seed beads. Go ahead and slide that onto the head pin. Then I'm going to grab one of my flat round turquoise, slide there on there as well. And now I have the makings of a dangle. I'm going to grab my 4-in-1 tools and get as close as I can to the round, the turquoise round. I'm going to fold over that head pin so it creates a 90-degree angle with the bead. After I've done that, I'm going to release my 4-in-1 tool, rotate it 90 degrees to the right, grab a hold of that wire one more time, and then I'm going to take the remaining wire and wrap all the way around the tool. All right, and I've wrapped it all the way around and made sure that they're as tight as possible. And I also want to make sure that they are touching at the bottom before I release my 4-in-1 tools. And there I have the beginnings of a loop. I'm going to grab my 4-in-1 tool yet one more time and just hold on to that loop at the top and make sure that it's towards the top. That way it gives me plenty of space to do the wire wrapping around. I'm going to grab the end of this wire. Now, if you've just put lotion on, it might not be a great time to do jewelry making because you kind of need to have a grip. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this and go all the way around my work. And I'm going to do 3 loops together. Now, because this head pin is very strong gauge wire, if you do have the ability to grab another pair of pliers, you can go ahead and grab them and pull around to make sure it's as tight as you want it. And there you have it. I have my dangle right here. Of course, I did not need to use these extra pliers, but it sure works when you've got slippery or sweaty or even wet hands from lotion, which is what I just did for camera. Now I've got this head pin here and we need to trim it off. I'm going to grab one more time my 4-in-1 tools, and there's two different sides to cut. There's one that's an indenture and then there's a flat side. I'm going to grab my flat side and get absolutely as close as possible. By turning that bead and going horizontal, I'm going to get as close as I can to that bead and that wire and snip. And then I just have this very small end here that needs to get tucked away. I'm going to grab my 4-in-1 tool and pinch that so it kind of gets tucked in, and then it won't injure me while I am wearing my earrings. All right, I finished both dangles and now it's time to assemble. Next, I'm going to grab my earring wire. I'm going to go ahead and put my dangle A on my loop wire, making sure that goes all the way to the bottom. Now, if you have a large loop, don't worry about it. It could slide off, but we're going to remedy that near the end. I'm going to grab my disc, insert it onto the ear wire. And sometimes it has trouble navigating to the bottom. You just want to open up that closure right there. Now I'm going to grab my 4-in-1 tool and I'm going to gently squeeze the ear wire and the disc and move that ear wire up towards the ball, up towards the ear wire, and close that gap right there. And I have a completed dangle earring. How fun is that? These are extra components that I will not need for the remainder of this project, but I do save them. And then I do have a couple more of this same bead from a different project, and I can add them and make my own jewelry at another time. So I've gone ahead and got my next pair of earrings kit components together, and I'm going to do these leather earrings. I've never seen anything quite like it, so I thought it would be a wonderful addition. So I'm going to go ahead and start by making the dangle B, which I need 2 of, and those instructions are again at the top. But if you look down below, it gives you more additional instructions on how to assemble them after you do that. We're going to go ahead and get these dangles together. Now it does say in the instructions to make a wrapped loop, but because these head pins are so short for me, I'm actually just going to make a regular loop. I'm going to fold it backwards. I'm going to trim it at about 1/4 of an inch from the end. I'm going to flip over my hand and grab the end of the head pin that I just cut off. Then I'm going to go ahead and rotate that. I'm rotating my hand and I am making sure it goes all the way to the bottom. And there you have, I have just made a loop. If it's not touching the head pin on the original, you just go ahead and again flip over your hand and grab the end you want to tuck in, and it absolutely tucks right in there. And you have now a loop on the top of your bead. And I'm going to go ahead and repeat that process with this one. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our jump ring, and when you're opening a jump ring, you never want to open it this way. You always want to open a jump ring this way. It hurts the integrity of the jump ring if you open it that way. So I'm going to go ahead and hold one side with my hand and rotate the other with my 4-in-1 tool. It says I need to slide it through the top of the leather, which I will do, and then close the jump ring. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab it one more time and close it using my 4-in-1 tool, and it is now closed at the top. We'll repeat that process and keep going. Now I'm going to take my ear wire, slip that onto that jump ring that I just attached, and you see that gap there between the ear wire and that ball on the end of the ear wire. That's the gap we're going to close. Grab my 4-in-1 tool and gently squeeze that gap together. And there you go. Now let's repeat it with the other one. Now it's time to attach our dangles. I'm going to go ahead and open up my jump ring like previously, slip it through the loop on the leather, grab my dangle, attach, put that on there as well, and then close up that jump ring. And now I have a finished earring. So the next component we're going to make is these dangle Ds so I can finish up the earrings. I've got my head pin right here. I'm going to go ahead, and it says in the instructions that I'm going to be making a loop next to the ball tip. So I'm going to go ahead and mentally measure about a 1/4 of an inch down and put my fingertip there. I'm going to grab that head pin and twist it 90 degrees. Then grab my tool, and we're going opposite. And we're going to grab by the head pin here, and we're going to start making a loop this way. Then I grab it and start twisting around so that I can make a loop with my head pin. Don't worry about this section right here because it will be covered in wire loop. Now what I'm going to do is slide on my amethyst bead so it is centered in my head pin. Then I'm going to make sure that while it's centered, I move up the wire to make a triangle. And you want to over triangulate so you have some of those two parts up on top. Then I'm going to make sure that this loop is vertical, and I need to wrap this wire around the other. So I'm going to go ahead and do that by twisting it around the wire. And there we have our wire wrapped loop at the top of that with the head pin there as decoration. I think it looks smashing. We're going to grab our ear wire, stick it on the ear wire like previously, and then see that gap between the ear wire and that ball. We're going to squish it shut. And there you go. I've just finished my dangle earrings. I think it looks beautiful. I'm going to complete my other earring and enjoy my new jewelry collection. Thank you so much for joining us here on Annie's channel to do this Simply Beads tutorial. I really enjoyed myself because I put my earrings on right away after I got done. Thanks so much for coming. And if you are interested in finding out more information about the Simply Beads Kit of the Month Club, go ahead and look for the link down below. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have. Just leave them in the comment box below. Thanks so much, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.